What's going on? This is Charlie from Xclusive Autoworks. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a chrome delete on a Model X. So the customer wants a whole chrome delete on everything chrome on this car. That includes this window trim, little mirrors, the cameras, handles, and there's also a piece on the back. For this video I'm going to be showing you how to do the regular window trim. I'm going to be showing you on this piece right here actually. I've already gone ahead and disassembled the inner door card and the mirror that was removed. Fairly simple, but if you're doing it on a Model X, you might want to just watch a YouTube video. I'm not explaining how to take it apart, but that was already removed. For the chrome delete, you're going to need your vinyl, obviously. This is a little roll made for chrome deletes, so it's already chopped into about a 2-inch little roll. They also sell 3-inch and 4 inches. This is a 4-inch, I believe. So if you need any pieces that are slightly bigger, that just makes it easier than getting a big sheet and cutting a little strip for every little piece. It's basically like duct tape. You can just roll it out, get the piece you need, and you're good to go. For tools, I use generally 2 types of squeegees. When I'm laying the film on the chrome, I don't use a squeegee. I just use my thumbs. To me, it's easier. It's a small piece, so you can get away with using your hands. But I do have a bigger, thin squeegee, and also a tiny little pink one that has a lot of curves. So these curves are useful for getting it into certain places. And then a wrap stick. So this is a very good tool to have. Again, it's like the squeegees. You can just really tuck and get vinyl into little cracks and crevices. So yeah, to begin, I'm gonna alcohol and wipe down the chrome. I don't like to wash the cars before I do a chrome delete because, especially on the window trim, which is what we're wrapping, the rubber seals will hold water, and no matter how much you use the air compressor or a blow dryer to try to get it out, there's always going to be some kind of water. So the alcohol is good, you can clean it, and it doesn't leave any water because of the battery. So just use a little bit of alcohol. We use 70% isopropyl and just give it a nice wipe down, and that'll get most of the dirt off. And you can also use the wrap stick with the microfiber and alcohol. So I'm just putting the microfiber over the wrap stick, so now I have a hard edge. I can use that in here to get all the dirt that I can't reach with my fingers out. After doing that, you can see if it focuses, there was some dirt in there. So that's why it's good to have these tools if you're doing a chrome delete or a wrap in general. Also, I forgot to mention, obviously, you're going to need some sort of knife. Sharper the better, but you do want to be careful. Make sure you don't cut yourself. Alright, so now that we're all ready to lay, what I'm going to do is first take my roll. Still has the backing on it. I'm not sticking it down yet. I'm going to measure out a piece, and I'm leaving about 1.5 inches on each side's extra. So once I got that, cut it. So I got my piece cut. You can always hold it up, double check, make sure that it's long enough, because if it's not, you don't want to lay the whole thing on. And at the end, find out it's way too short. So yeah, we're good. I'm going to peel off about 1.5 inches into the backing. I'm gonna lay this on, and you want to make sure you have enough to fold it over to cover the little edge inside. And after that, I'm just gonna peel the backing about halfway, a little over halfway. Give it a little bit of tension with my left hand, or whatever hand you're using to hold up the backing and the vinyl, and just use my finger to go across. Just like that. And you want to put firm pressure, make sure there's no air. And do the rest. Again, a little bit of tension. But you don't want to stretch it. You don't want to really pull it. You just want tension to make sure that's not going to crease. So there we go. And also, because this is a Tesla, this is generally one of the easier cars to do a chrome delete on, because it's an angled sort of chrome piece. So what I mean by that is there's really just 2 surfaces. There's one here and one here. So they come together and then like that. So it's not a rounded one. So this one you can get away. I'll show you a trick later on to do this part. There's something you could do to get a cleaner install, and it won't fail nearly as fast as a regular piece of chrome, like say on a Audi or BMW, any other car that doesn't have this style of chrome. So after laying this bottom side, I'm just going to use my thumb and make sure the top side is laid good. You could also open this door, just so I have more room for the other side. Make sure this is all down good. Alright, so let me just show you this. So now we're here. For the most part, the whole thing is laid. We just have to go ahead and tuck edges now. So I'm going to start with this edge, so you can see. First, you're going to want to tuck either the top or the bottom. And here, we could do that with a squeegee. Or a ratchet. I'm going to use a squeegee. So, you want to, before shoving it in here, you don't want to have any tension, any bridges. So, I'm going to lift up this bottom piece that's on the painted surface, not on the chrome. Just lift it up. You could also put masking tape on like the blue right underneath the chrome if you wanted to, so the wrap doesn't stick. And then you're just going to want to lift it up like this and push it in. This is something that you'll have to get used to. Right away, you're probably just going to want to shove it in while it's bridged over the paint, which is not good because it will end up failing, most definitely on you. So just get it nice and good in there. And now that this is tucked in, you can just double check it, use your fingernail too. If you have fingernails, I would say fingernails are a wrapper's best friend. Because it's basically another squeegee. And it makes it easier to tuck things like this. And then you just want to put your blade in on the underside of the chrome. And then just, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the blade, I'm just letting it cut the vinyl. Because there is a rubber trim in there and you don't want to cut into that, because then you'll be paying for someone's leaking door. Go, just like that. And also, you always want to take pictures. This mark was here because you can cut paint when you're doing this. You have to be careful. Make sure your blade's facing upwards towards the chrome. That marker there, like I said. Top edge is the same thing, but if you see on here, there is a rubber piece of trim right here. So you're gonna have to tuck in between the chrome and that rubber trim. On this car, it's nice. The rubber trim does kind of get out of the way. You could tuck it in between there very easily. And this is more, I would say, this is like fingernails too. You want to use your fingernails to get it in there. And make sure, that's the same thing, you want to make sure you're lifting it off the rubber trim so there's no tension, there's no bridging. Get it just like that. Then take your knife, and again, you want to make sure it's always a sharp blade. This is a fresh blade. And just go right in between. And this is definitely the part where you don't want to press too hard, because you don't want to cut that trim. There you go. So I'm just cutting it, and then if it doesn't fully tuck after cutting it, you could just use your nail or a squeegee or a wrap stick to tuck it in. So now, from here on, it's pretty much done. We just got to do this little edge. So you can see that it's that two-sided design, like I said. There's a flat edge here and a flat edge here. You just want to put it on. Make sure this is all tucked. And find this little body line on the chrome. You can see this hard body line. That's where the two edges meet. So for this, you can kind of cheat. I like to put the knife behind, right in line with this body line. and just give it a little cut. You could always go in front too. So just find the bottom line. You don't want to go too far in. Just right at the edge and just put a slice across. Now, you want to take the bottom edge, push it down, and make sure you're not giving it too much stretch. Just get that firm down there. Then you can take the top edge once the bottom one's on. Make sure this is fully on. There we go. That one's on. And take the top edge. And this one you could pull a little bit, get a little tension, make sure it's flush. Just like that. So now, that little relief cut is going to make sure that there's way less tension. And once that's all down, you could take your knife and trim it out. All I did was I trimmed out the extra, and now this edge is perfect. This whole side is perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead, it's the same steps for the rest of it. It's an exact mirror. On the other side, it's another flat surface like this. So you wanna do the same thing. And again, just make sure you're not bridging the film between the painted surface and the chrome. So from here to here, you wanna make sure it's not just tented over. You wanna lift it up before you tuck in this crease. And the same thing for the weather trim side. Okay, so it's a couple minutes later, I just finished trimming this. You can see there's the edge. I did that same technique like I said before. Put the little relief cut, and you have 2 tabs to fold down. Here's the whole trim. Oops, just hit the mic. You can see the tucked edge into the trim. Just like that, and the same thing for the bottom of the blue. Of course, it's not going to focus. There you go. And I'm going to go ahead and close the... Whoops. There's the wrong button. There you go. So you can see that's the difference. Huh?
You're like a kid in the candy store with those doors.
Yeah, I know. They're sick. That's the difference between the black and the chrome. So it already looks a lot better in my opinion. You'll get none of this dirt buildup, like fingerprinting on the black. It'll get dirty, of course, but you're not gonna get these like weird marks. So now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna show you the door handle. That is very easy. Probably the easiest thing on this whole car actually to chrome delete. But very simple, and I'll get to that right now. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and wiped down the door handle with alcohol. It's the same thing, you know, wiping down something with alcohol is very easy. So you just want to make sure it's clean, there's no oil on it. I'm going to take the piece and just measure it out. Right about here, cut the strip. And again, if you don't have this roll, you know, if you have regular vinyl, just like cut a piece around that size, you want to make sure you have full coverage. And this piece is actually small enough. I'm just going to go ahead and peel the whole backing off and just lay it on and push it down. This is what I mean about tenting. So I'm going to bring the camera right here, zoom in. So this area right here, right now, that is all tented. It's, you know, it's stuck to the paint and it's barely sticking to here, which means there's a lot of tension right here. So to get rid of that, you want to just lift it up and make sure it's not stuck to the paint at all, and then just lay it in with your finger, squeegee, whatever you want. To me, finger is a lot easier. You get more control. You can feel what you're doing better. Same thing. And an important thing about vinyl is you don't want to leave anything tinted like that for too long, because you'll get what's called glue lines. And that's just from the vinyl sitting with a lot of tension in one spot. Like say right here. If this was stretched a lot more and just sat there for a couple minutes, you'll end up getting that glue line. And that's just from a little bit of stretching. And when you go to put it down, there's going to be a hard line right where this tented part meets the handle. So it's a little hard to understand. You'll know when you're doing it, when you're putting too much tension in the area and letting it sit for too long. But that's just kind of something that you'll get the hang of as you wrap. So this door handle actually goes pretty far in. I am going to try to get it as far in as I possibly can. And this is actually a good time to use the wrap stick. So I'm going to take this, lift it up, and just work vinyl in. There you go, that's pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and trim and just make sure you're not cutting in the paint. That looks pretty good. Lift it up. Just like that. Now on the back, I'm just going to take this and put a little bit of tension and just wrap it around this back edge. Like that. Then I want to make sure these little corners go down too. I might need a little more tension actually. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull it this way and also kind of in toward this, my thumb. So I'm going to pull, I'm putting my wrists together basically and pulling. So that'll make sure that these corners end up wrapping in just like that. And I'm just going to tuck this into my finger. There we go. So now you can see the difference between the chrome and the black. Much better. Okay, so that is how you do the chrome delete on the window trim and the door handles of the Tesla Model X. These are the easier parts of the chrome delete overall. I'm gonna have another video on how to do the more intricate stuff, like the side cameras and the mirror housings. Everything else for the window trim is pretty much identical. The back part, which I'll actually show. Over here, this is a little different. All you gotta do is just tuck it into this rubber gasket. And on this side, on the paint side, it's the same thing as the bottoms of the side window trim.